Running Man is an action sci-fi thriller movie that was released on November 13th, 1987. I am now reviewing a movie from Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I have not done in a really fucking long time. But I'm here to tell you about a movie that is really quite misunderstood and quite frankly underappreciated. I've not seen the remake because honestly I'm getting sick of Hollywood remaking classic movies. Anyway, let's start with the story. The story is set in a dystopian future where a man named Ben Richards gets wrongfully convicted to a prison. The only way he can get out is to participate in a TV game show where the convicts, who are called runners, have to battle killers. Now, I say that this movie is misunderstood because a lot of people seem to think that this movie has weak social commentary. They seem to believe that its commentary on violence in the media is not really well thought out. Hell, I myself thought the commentary was a little confusing when I first saw the movie. But I watched it again and realized that the social commentary is honestly pretty fucking good. Why? Because it's actually not commenting on violence in the media. Or at least, not entirely. The commentary is actually more about the government and the news. It is specifically commenting on how the American government deliberately lies to its citizens, and how the news also lies to the citizens. The movie basically says that it's not fair that they lie. It is also commentating on the fact that the news exploits tragedy and hostility to keep people in fear. This movie actually kind of predicted the future, because more and more people are actually starting to not trust the news anymore. With the overwhelming amount of stories that turned out to be bullshit and fabricated. Also, many studies have shown that people who do watch the news often experience higher levels of anxiety, hopelessness, and depression. If you watch the movie, it is pretty fucking obvious that the commentary is on the government. First of all, the TV game show host deliberately edited the footage to make it seem like Ben killed all those people that were civilians, that were unarmed, which we all know from the opening scene that story is bullshit. He didn't actually do it. While the main girl, who is Amber Mendez, initially sees Ben as a fucking monster who is sick in the head, after an incident where she made him go to jail after he made her help her escape. The news shows that he killed 2 people in the airport, and she knows that that was bullshit because it didn't happen. I think that is when she starts questioning the news. That's another thing this movie is commenting on. The news often tries to paint people who play violent video games and listen to edgy music as fucking sick people when they really aren't. Which is honestly one of the most despicable things that a human being can do. When Amber is caught trying to dig for the video that proves Ben's innocence, she is forced to be a contestant on the game show. For her, they make up a bunch of stories about her. They say she cheated on college exams, had sex with 4 men, and married Ben. It is really just character assassination, demonizing promiscuity, and making shit up all at once. A lot of what the government and the game show hosts do is so true in real life. It is honestly pretty scary how well television marketing works on people. People will believe anything that the government and the news will tell them. I've had family members who have bought up all of the media sensationalism about how so many shootings were happening in America and how evil guns are. But I actually did my research and found that most of the states with the harsher gun laws often do have higher homicide rates. I think this might actually be the whole point of the movie. And in that regard, it's actually pretty goddamn genius, especially when you consider the time this movie came out. This is not conspiratorial shit. That is really how the government is like. and it's been proven over and over again. Another thing I find interesting is that whenever Ben wins against one of the killers, the audience is fucking horrified. They treat it like a tragedy that Ben won and killed one of the killers. But it's only when one person who starts betting on Ben when they get invigorated. But when the truth gets out that the people found out that Damien Killian, who is the game show host, has been lying about how Ben killed all those innocent civilians, they're rightfully pissed. They should be. Okay, if you have not seen this movie, skip the timestamp in the description because I'm going to briefly talk about the ending. Ben does something that I wish I could do to all the fucking news anchors and politicians who lie to the American people. He puts him in the sled that leads to the garage, and Killian ends up getting blown up. I couldn't think of a better way to end this movie. Well, maybe I could have done without Amber randomly kissing Ben at the end. I feel that romantic subplot was kind of shoehorned in because none of the previous scenes hinted that Ben and Amber had romantic attraction. In fact, it actually seemed to imply the opposite. But that is one detail that I can ignore because it is actually a really good ending, and I do like how the scene after Killian's demise has pretty much no dialogue. It doesn't need words. As for the action scenes, they're actually pretty fucking good. I particularly like the fight scene between Ben and Buzzsaw. It is pretty satisfying. There's also plenty of explosions and a damn good shootout toward the end of the movie. It is shot and edited pretty well. It's not the most action heavy of Schwarzenegger's work, but there's still quite a bit of good action scenes in it. As for the production values, the cinematography, editing, sound, and sets are all pretty well done. The visual effects on these shots of Dynamo shooting electric beams are surprisingly good. They don't look that dated. The music is not too bad. It has some synthwave thrown in the score, and I think the ending song, Restless Heart by John Parr, is a fucking awesome song. Overall, The Running Man is a movie that is a lot deeper than people seem to realize. It has pretty harsh social commentary on the government and sensationalist content from the news. It asks the question, why can't the news tell the fucking truth? But one thing that I love is that it never talks down to the audience because it doesn't need to. It still provides a fun story with likable characters and good writing. Well, for the most part. And aggressive action scenes. It is a movie that is very relatable in kind of a Demolition Man kind of way, which actually both movies do have some pretty striking similarities. That's why I really enjoy this movie, and I think it has brilliant commentary. I give The Running Man 4 out of 5 stars with the title of awesome. Anyway, I'm Spike Robot. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel and feel free to support me on Patreon and follow me on Instagram. If you support me on Patreon, you can get exclusive updates on my next video. And if you follow me on Instagram, you can see all the pictures I took in Venice, Italy, so go check this out if you want. I'll see you next time on the Freedom Jingos.